What's up, guys? I just had to make this video because I've been battling this for probably a week or so and thinking about it for quite a bit longer than that. But anyway, I could not find the information I was looking for online, at least not very easily or well explained. So I wanted to kind of make a video and try to explain the best I can the way that I have made this John Deere 445 work correctly. And I can't say for sure, but based on any of the research I've done, like a 425, 435, 440, whatever, right in this 400 series tractor is going to be similar, I hope. But I want to make clear that this is specifically a 445, and so it will for sure work on your 445. And if your particular tractor in the 400 series looks similar, it's at least worth a try. So anyway, what I did, this had a blown engine for the most part. The original, you can see it right there, Kawasaki. And one of the main problems with that is that it mounts from the side. And so, actually I can take you over there and show you. Right here at the bottom of the block on the sides is where the engine mounts. There's 4 bolts on each side, and then you have one of these brackets on each side with kind of the rubber mounts, and that's how the engine mounts, which is good unless you're looking to change your engine to, like for example, what I have is a Predator or a Briggs or Kohler or whatever that mount standard with a 4-bolt square pattern on the bottom. And so a couple of the changes I had to make, and I'm going to go quickly through this because the main thing I want to show is the electrical. But anyway, as far as engine mounting, I got myself about a 1/2-inch plate of steel and welded it across. You can't see it, but there's a gap right here under the engine. And what I did is just cut that plate to match the size of the engine and welded it in place. Drilled my 4 mounting holes and mounted the engine that way. The only thing I had to do is cut this one, just like this old engine mount. I had to cut this one out because the oil filter was right there and it was bumping into it. So I cut that out, got rid of that, and other than that, it fits right up. I'll show you on the other side. If you're going to keep your stock throttle and choke and ignition that comes on the Predator engine, that fits perfectly. It doesn't bump into the pedal, it's out of the way of your feet. One thing I'm probably going to do is move that so that I can put my side covers back on. But actually, being air-cooled, I don't mind having them off. But I'll do an update video if I end up doing that and needed to make any specific changes for that. Otherwise, just temporarily, I've got my battery bungeed up on the front because I need to cut this crankshaft down to make the battery fit in its old spot. But anyway, as far as mounting, that's how you do that. One thing you will need, you can see right down in here, is a hub adapter. This is the universal hub adapter from Performance 670. If you look them up, you can find that universal hub adapter. And it comes with kind of some etched on lines that give you your correct bolt spacing. What this bolt spacing is an inch and a half. And so what I did is just went with the stock bolt size, which is an M8 by 125, and drilled my 3 holes. I marked them out in a triangular pattern, drilled those, tapped them, and then I went with a socket head, sorry about my finger, socket head screw, and then you can see I have 3 washers there and 1 washer there to space that out properly. That spacing will just depend on how exact your engine mounting is. So you might have to put washers in different spots, but that's how that worked. And then going in the other direction, I've got 3, it's going to zoom on my finger again, but 3 bolts going this direction, also M8 by 125, into the drive shaft. So hopefully that's enough explanation. I can certainly help you out in the comments if you have more questions on that. But Anyway, the next thing I did is extend my fuel just a little bit. Here's where the old fuel line ended. Here's where I needed the new one, so I just put a small extension there. And that's it. So as far as the electrical, the main reason I'm doing this video is what I've been battling is this thing started right up and it ran. I could drive it. It was perfect, except I couldn't turn the blade on. And that's kind of the only other thing I needed is the blade. I don't need the temperature switch. I don't need much of the dash. I still have the fuel gauge. I don't need my battery light, oil light, all that stuff because it's already built in. For example, this has a low oil cutoff as far as I know. It's air cooled, so the temperature of my coolant wouldn't matter because I don't have any coolant. Stuff like that. So the only thing I needed is the blade to work so that I could use this as a mower again, or so the customer could. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. I just got it figured out and kind of wanted to show what I did. So looking down here at the electrical, when you unhook your original motor, you're going to have two large connectors that look like this. You've got one full of small wires and then one with these 6 larger wires. And then you've also got 2 power wires. They're the large red ones here. Those are actually tied together in the harness, but if you strip it back just a little ways, you'll see those 2 red wires, and mine actually had orange coming out of the other end. And I tied those together and ran them to the battery. I might actually be able to unhook that. I can't say for sure, but what that's doing right now is giving power to my stock dash. So I'm pretty sure you're going to need that, and I'm going to clean that up better and not run it like it is now. But what I did is just tied those together and gave them 12 volts from, I'll show you, from my starter battery post right there on the starter solenoid. And I'm going to clean that up like I said. This is all the headlight wiring. So I just bundled that up. That runs up to the hood and runs your headlights. It looks much more complicated than it is, but I just bundled that up for now because mainly we're just trying to get this running and mowing so that the guy can mow. He's been waiting a week and a half for it, so the grass needs to be cut, and then we're going to kind of iron out some details after that. But anyway, so far we've got the 12 volts to those 2 wires, bundled up the lighting harness, then the trick to getting the blade to run, and this is what worked for me. If you have a better idea, try that. But I just wanted to show what worked for me. So what I've got here is, the problem was I wasn't providing a ground to my dash. I was providing power, and I went around and round providing 12 volts to everything I could think of to get the blade to run, but the problem was the ground. So what I did here is took 3 spade connectors and I think 14 to 16 gauge. And as you're looking at this, try to get some good lighting. As you're looking at this 6-pin connector with the larger wires, with the tab, the locking tab on the top, we're looking at a V formation. So the top left, bottom middle, and top right. Those 3 need to be tied together. So you can see there I've just got them looped together so they're all connected. And then you leave 1 wire out that you ground. And you can hear that. As soon as I ground that, that's grounding my dash, and what you're hearing is all the relays clicking because my key's on right now. So that's what you have. And actually, the first time I did this, I've got my fuel return hose from the old engine. It started spraying out fuel, which I'm not exactly sure why that happened. I think the fuel pump was running, and it let fuel out for some reason, but it hasn't done that since. So I can't explain why it did that. My recommendation there, if yours continues to do that, is just either pull your fuel pump fuse in the dash, or I'm guessing fuel pump ground is one of these 3 wires, and you'll just have to figure out which one it is. I want to say top right, but I'm not positive, so you'll just unhook that ground. But anyway, all I'm going to do is zip tie this up nice, put a eyelet on it, and then a ground screw or ground bolt somewhere here, and just give it a ground. So that's it. As soon as I did that, I pulled my PTO switch out and the blades kicked on. So that's all there is to it, and I hope that answers any questions you've got. Yeah, if you have any other questions, leave them down in the comments, and I'll do a follow-up video. I guess one other thing I did is I put a weight on my seat safety switch, and I haven't tested it to know if I needed that or not, because essentially what you're doing is bypassing all of the safeties for the blade by doing this. This actually has some really intricate safeties built in. It's got like a temperature safety where it'll cut the blade off if the engine's too hot. Your seat safety, I think it's got something tied into the parking brake safety, on and on and on. So I can't tell you if you needed to have your seat safety engaged or not. But anyway, give this wiring a try if you're trying this same repair, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I will do an update video when this thing's further along, if I ran across anything else that might be helpful. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, specifically subscribe. I'm getting real close to that 1,000 mark, and really hoping I can get there. That would be very cool. So, thanks a lot. See you on the next one.